Hi, hello doctor. How are you? Today we are going to discuss one very important topic called monoclonal antibodies. First, I am going to discuss nomenclature, how to study the name of the monoclonal antibody. For example, take one drug, trastuzumab. In this drug, look at the last three letters, MAB. Any drug name ending with the suffix MAB mean they call monoclonal antibody. Just before these three letters, look at these two letters. These two letters indicate source of the antibody. Here one MCQ. What are the important source? Based on the source, look here. There are four important points. In the drug name, if there is letter STU, the STU indicate it is humanized antibody. That is maximum portion of the drug obtained from human, less than 10% of drug obtained from mouse origin. It's called humanized antibody. Sometimes in the drug name there will be XI. That is called chimerical origin. That is equal portion, 50% from human and 50% from mouse. That's called chimerical source. And sometimes the drug name will contain just before MAB only U. That's called fully human, 100% from human. And sometimes the drug name before MAB may have letter O. It is called fully mouse origin, 100% the drug after the mouse. So based on the origin, one question, if the drug is fully human mean less antigenicity or less allergic reaction, whereas fully mouse mean more chance of allergy and hypersensitivity reaction. Now I'll give one of the example. For example, look here, adalimumab. We know MAB mean monoclonal antibody. Just before MAB, there's only one thing called U. U. The U alone is present mean it is called fully human source. Similarly, panitumumab, it's only U. And then, for example, for a humanized antibody, look here, bevacizumab, moderate trastuzumab. That means just before MAB, we have STU. STU indicate humanized monoclonal antibody. Now it shows an example for chimerical antibody. For example, rituximab, infliximab. Look here, just before letters MAB, we have XI. XI being chimerical source. Now I'll give example for fully mouse origin. For example, we have ibrutinib, tocilizumab. Here, just before MAB, we have only O. That's called fully mouse in origin. So this slide shows the source of the antibody, either humanized or chimerical or mouse or fully human. This is also one important MCQ. Now, once you know this, now look at the second point. Second point is we know MAB mean monoclonal antibody, and just before MAB these letter indicate source. Now just before this letter, look at these two letter in this drug name TU. The TU indicate target. For example, I show so many example for some target. For example, look at the first one, basiliximab, daclizumab. MEB mean monoclonal antibody, XA mean chimerical origin. Look at the spelling LI. LI. That's called target. LI mean lowering immunity. That means it's a immunosuppressant monoclonal antibody. Now look at the second one, abziximab. MEB mean antibody, XA mean chimerical. The CI indicate target. What CI? CI stands for circulation. Circulation. And then look at the third one, palivizumab. MEB antibody, insert human humanized origin. VI. VI mean target virus. That means the drug is acting against some virus. Then look at next one, denosumab. Here MEB antibody U U mean fully human origin and OS mean target ostium acting on board because denosumab. Then look at next one alirocumab, evolocumab. Here MEB antibody U mean fully human, OC pneumonia. OC mean over cholesterol. That means alirocumab, evolocumab antibody useful for lowering cholesterol. That means you should not target of the monoclonal antibody. Very important. Once you know this much, you should know exact target. For example, basiliximab, daclizumab, I know LI mean lowering immunity. But how they low immunity? Exactly speaking, where they acting? Actually speaking, basiliximab, daclizumab targeting against interleukin 2. It's also called CD25. CD25. So interleukin 2 or C25. The CD25, it was the old Ames question. Basiliximab, daclizumab targeting against C25. Also called targeting against IL-2. Then amziximab. CA means circulation. In the circulation, the amziximab acting against platelet, exactly speaking, target is glycoprotein 2B3A receptor. Now, palivizumab. We know VI mean virus. This drug is acting against what virus? It is useful for prophylaxis of respiratory syncytial virus. Then, denosumab. OS mean we know osteum. That mean acting on bone. That means denosumab useful for prevention of osteoporosis. The exact target is acting against rank L, acting against rank L, preventing the binding of rank L with rank. Rank is the receptor seen on osteoclast. So when rank L binding with the rank receptor mean the osteoclast become mature. So to prevent the maturation of osteoclast, we use one drug called denosumab, a monoclonal antibody useful for treatment of osteoporosis. Then alirocumab, evolocumab. We know OC over cholesterol. That means they are useful for lowering cholesterol. The exact target is targeting against PCSK9 receptor. So alirocumab, evolocumab are targeting against PCSK9 receptor. That means you should know from your drug name nomenclature mean MAB mean monoclonal antibody. Just before MAB, look at this. It may be humanized origin or chimerical origin or mouse origin or fully human origin. Next is target, whether acting on LI mean lower immunity. Here TU mean tumor, acting against some tumor. That means drug name trastuzumab. That is an antibody, humanized origin, useful for some tumor, drug name trastuzumab. Like that, you should know nomenclature of the antibody. This is important. So, what we done so far is how to study the monoclonal antibody. Now, we are going to discuss pharmacokinetic aspect of monoclonal antibody. Okay. Most of the monoclonal antibody generally given as IV infusion, but there are some exceptions. For example, omalizumab, adalimumab given subcutaneously, palivizumab given intramuscularly, ranibizumab given intravenously. But generally speaking, majority of monoclonal antibody given intravenous infusion. And coming to excretion, most of the monoclonal antibody undergo first order kinetic of excretion, but there are some exceptions. For example, omalizumab, denosumab undergoes zero order kinetic of excretion. And coming to general adverse effect, we know most of the monoclonal antibody given IV infusion. So the most common side effect of majority of MAB is infusion reaction. that is fever, chills, rigor. That's a common side effect of majority of MABs. But some drug having specific side effect. What are side effect? We discuss later on. So this slide shows general pharmacokinetic aspect of monoclonal antibody. Now we are going to study monoclonal antibody acting against growth factor receptors. I go one by one. First group of drugs targeting against human epidermal growth factor receptor 2 called HER2 receptor. For example, we have two drugs called trastuzumab and pertuzumab. These two monoclonal antibody targeting against HER2 receptor in the breast. So, trastuzumab, pertuzumab, a monoclonal antibody targeting against HER2 receptor in the breast. So, they are useful for treatment of HER2 positive breast cancer. And extra one point, the trastuzumab also got approval for treatment of stomach cancer. And we know they are given IV infusion. So coming to ADR, the most common side effect is IV infusion reaction like fever, chills, rigor. But you should know that trastuzumab, pertuzumab having specific side effect that is causing cardiomyopathy. Monoclonal antibody causing cardiomyopathy means think of trastuzumab as well as pertuzumab. Here one more extra point. We have one conjugate monoclonal antibody called trastuzumab emtansine. Here trastuzumab targeting against HER2, the emtansine is a drug going to inhibit microtubules, thereby inhibiting cell division. It's called conjugate monoclonal antibody useful for treatment of HER2 positive breast cancer. The next important group of drugs targeting against vascular growth factor receptor, simply called VGFR. For example, we have one drug called bevacizumab. Bevacizumab. Look here, MAB antibody is to humanize C, I mean circulation. Target is on circulation. In the circulation, targeting against vascular growth factor. That means these drugs are going to inhibit vascular supply to the tumor, inhibiting angiogenesis, inhibiting new blood vessel formation. That's called target VGFR. And this bevacizumab useful mainly for treatment of metastatic colorectal cancer along with 5-fluorouracil and also useful for renal cell carcinoma and also useful for diabetic retinopathy. Other than this, bevacizumab is also indicated for treatment of non-small cell lung cancer, ovarian cancer, and glioblastoma. Here, very important question. Bevacizumab for cancer and all given as IV infusion for treating retinopathy given intravitreous route. And once again, very important point actually. If any drug antagonizing vascular growth factor mean that drug will cause side effect of hypertension. One of the important point, any drug antagonizing vascular growth factor mean that drug may cause side effect of hypertension. So bevacizumab causing hypertension as a side effect. Other than hypertension, it also causes proteinuria and also causing thromboembolic complication. That is bevacizumab. Other than bevacizumab, you should also know there are some more drugs acting against VGFR. For example, ramucirumab. It's a newer monoclonal antibody. For example, MAB monoclonal antibody. U mean fully human. CIR mean circulation. Drug name Ramu. So this drug in the circulation acting against VGF. VGFR useful for treatment of gastric cancer. So ramucirumab useful for treatment of gastric cancer. Other than gastric cancer, it is also useful for non-small cell lung cancer. That is ramucirumab. And one more important drug called ranibizumab. Ranibizumab, a drug targeting against VEGFR, useful for treatment of macular degeneration, called ranibizumab. After finishing the drug acting against VEGFR, now we move to drug acting against EGFR. EGFR means epidermal growth factor receptor, called EGFR. It's also called HER, human epidermal receptor 1. So EGFR also called HER1. So what are all the important monoclonal antibody that is targeting against EGFR? Where we have cetuximab, panitumumab, and necitumumab, like the three important antibody. Here, cetuximab, very important question, old question, repeated question, so you should know. Cetuximab, a monoclonal antibody useful for colonic cancer and also useful for head and neck cancer. The cetuximab causing important adverse effect called hypomagnesemia. Ceretex may causing hypomagnesemia and also causing hypersensitivity reaction, that's called allergic reaction. Coming to panitumumab, useful for colorectal cancer, and necitumumab, useful for non-small cell lung cancer. Now, after finishing drug acting against EGFR, now we want to drug acting against PDGFR, that is platelet derived growth factor receptor. So there is one antibody called olaratumab, antibody targeting against PDGFR. This drug is useful for treatment of soft tissue sarcoma. So what we done so far is there are some antibody acting against some growth factor like HER, or we have EGFR, VGFR, like that some drug acting against some growth factor we discussed. Now we are going to discuss monoclonal antibody acting against CD antigens. First drug, rituximab. This drug acting against CD20 antigen representing on B cell. So very important question. Already came 3 times in AIMS exam. What is the target of rituximab? Rituximab targeting against CD20 on B cell. So very important, very important. This drug useful for so many condition uses. For example, useful for CLL, hemolytic anemia, idiopathic thrombocytopenia purpura, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and also useful for rheumatoid arthritis. That's about some important indications of rituximab. And rituximab causing one special problem called PML. One of the dangerous adverse effect of rituximab, PML. PML means progressive multifocal leukoencephalopathy. One of the dangerous adverse effect. Now, other than rituximab, there are some more MAB acting against CD20. So, what are the other monoclonal antibody targeting against CD20 mean? Think of ofatumumab, that is useful for CLL, and we have some conjugate monoclonal antibody. Conjugate antibody, for example, tostitumumab, it's conjugating with radioactive iodine 131. One more drug, ibrutinib, it is an antibody conjugating with yttrium-90. These two conjugate monoclonal antibody targeting against CD20, useful for B-cell lymphoma. Then obinutuzumab, antibody targeting against CD20, useful for CLL, B-cell non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Then antibody targeting against CD22 includes inotuzumab, useful for ALL, B-cell type of ALL, moxetumomab, useful for hairy cell leukemia. Then antibody targeting against CD30. It's called conjugate antibody called brentuximab vedotin. It's a conjugate antibody targeting against CD30 and conjugating with immunoglobulin G1, useful for Hodgkin's lymphoma as well as CLL. And then antibody targeting against CD33. It's also one conjugate antibody called gemtosumab osagamicin. Here, gemtosumab antibody targeting against CD33. Osagamicin, it's called antibiotic anti-cancer drug calciamycin. So conjugating with the calciamycin, it's called conjugate antibody useful for AML. And then antibody targeting against CD38 called daratumumab, useful for multiple myeloma. Then antibody targeting against CD52, alemtuzumab, it's an important antibody useful for treatment of multiple sclerosis as well as useful for CLL. What we did so far is there are some antibody targeting against some CD antigen. Now we are going to discuss antibody useful for some specific condition. For example, mogamulizumab, a antibody targeting against CCR4 receptor useful for treatment of mycosis fungoidosis. It's also called Sézary syndrome. It's also called simply cutaneous T-cell lymphoma. So, a monoclonal antibody useful for treatment of cutaneous T-cell lymphoma. Think of mogamulizumab targeting against CCR4 receptor. Then there are some antibody useful for treatment of rheumatoid arthritis. For example, infliximab, adalimumab, certolizumab, golimumab. These are antibody targeting against TNF alpha. They call TNF alpha blocker. Then we have tocilizumab and sarilumab. These are antibody targeting against interleukin 6. So these are antibody useful for treatment of rheumatoid arthritis. Then we have the SIL, siltuximab. It is also antagonizing IL-6, but this is useful for Castleman disease. Look here. Tocilizumab, sarilumab targeting against IL-6 useful for rheumatoid arthritis, whereas siltuximab targeting against IL-6 useful for Castleman disease. Then antibody useful for treatment of gouty arthritis. We have one drug called canakinumab. It's a interleukin 1 beta receptor antagonist useful for gouty arthritis. And canakinumab also very useful for treatment of Muckle-Wells syndrome. And then antibody useful for treatment of osteoporosis. We have one drug called denosumab. It's a monoclonal antibody targeting against rank L, useful for treatment of osteoporosis. And we have some more drug called blazozumab and romosozumab. They call anti-sclerostin antibody. These two drugs promoting osteoblast, useful for prevention of osteoporosis, whereas denosumab inhibiting osteoclast, thereby preventing osteoporosis. One extra point, denosumab in addition to prevention of osteoporosis, it is also useful for treatment of giant cell tumor of bone. And then we have one latest point. We have one drug called Burozumab. It's a monoclonal antibody targeting against fibroblast growth factor 23, useful for X-linked hypophosphatemia, the so-called vitamin D resistant rickets. For this case, we have one drug called Burozumab. Actually, the fibroblast growth factor 23 causing phosphaturia. So, Burozumab interfere with the phosphaturic action of fibroblast growth factor 23, thereby approved for treatment of X-linked hypophosphatemia. That is Burozumab. And then there are so many monoclonal antibody useful for plaque psoriasis. For example, Bradalumab, Secukinumab, IXC, Isicizumab. These three drugs are antagonizing interleukin 17 receptor. Then we have Guselkumab, Tildrakizumab, antagonizing interleukin 23, and then ustekinumab antagonizing against interleukin 12 and 23, and one more drug ifalizumab targeting against CD11A. All these are monoclonal antibody useful for treatment of plaque psoriasis. Here the drug acting against interleukin 17 and drug acting against IL-12 and 23. These are the two old MCQ, that is uh, Bradalumab, IL-17 blocker useful for psoriasis. Ustekinumab, a drug targeting against IL-12 and 23, useful for plaque psoriasis, are old question. You must know question. And then there are some monoclonal antibody useful for treatment of multiple sclerosis. For example, natalizumab, it's an antibody targeting against alpha 4 beta 1 integrin. Then acrelizumab, antibody targeting against CD20. Then alemtuzumab, antibody targeting against CD52. These are monoclonal antibody useful for treatment of multiple sclerosis. Then there are so many monoclonal antibody useful for treatment of bronchial asthma. For example, omalizumab, a monoclonal antibody targeting against immunoglobulin E, IgE. Then reslizumab, mepolizumab, benralizumab. These three antibody are targeting against interleukin 5. Then tralokinumab, lebrikizumab. These two newer antibody targeting against interleukin 13. And we have one more drug called dupilumab. Dupilumab, a drug targeting against interleukin 4, useful for bronchial asthma. It is also approved for treatment of atopic dermatitis, called dupilumab. So, antibody useful for bronchial asthma is a very important chapter. You must know chapter. Next. There are some antibody useful for treatment of paroxysmal nocturnal hemoglobinuria, simply called PNH. It's a medical emergency. Paroxysmal nocturnal hemoglobinuria, such a dangerous condition. For treating this case, we have eculizumab, one more drug, RAVU, ravulizumab. Both are acting against complement component C5, useful for treatment of PNH. Even though these drugs are a very good drug for controlling PNH, for the PNH, the specific treatment means bone marrow transplantation. That's a wonderful option for treating PNH. Another very important MC question. We have one drug called Edarazumab. Edarazumab. It's a monoclonal antibody approved as an antidote for dabigatran. Dabigatran. It's a orally given anticoagulant, direct 2A inhibitor. So, dabigatran anticoagulant may cause bleeding. To control that, we have one specific antidote called edarazumab. So, a monoclonal antibody useful for treating dabigatran toxicity, think of adarazumab. Then, for some infective condition also we have some monoclonal antibody. For example, efungumab. It's a drug targeting against heat shock protein of Candida, useful for candidiasis. Then ibalizumab, very important MC question. Ibalizumab targeting against CD4, thereby inhibiting viral entry, useful for treatment of HIV, AIDS infection. So it's a viral entry blocker useful for treatment of HIV infection. Then obeltasiimab, raxibacumab. These are MEB useful for treatment of anthrax, targeting against bacillus anthrax, useful for inhalational anthrax management. And then we have one drug called palivizumab, antibody targeting against RSV virus, so useful for prophylaxis of respiratory syncytial viral infection. Then we have rafivirumab, a drug acting against the rabies virus, useful for prophylaxis of rabies. Then basilotoxumab, antibody targeting against Clostridium difficile, so useful for managing pseudomembranous colitis. So find out the monoclonal antibody useful for managing pseudomembranous colitis, mean think of basilotoxumab. And then for treating inflammatory bowel disease, we have one drug called vedolizumab. It is targeting against alpha 4 beta 7 integrin, useful for treatment of ulcerative colitis and Crohn's disease. And then for managing type 1 diabetes, we have some newer drug called otilizumab and teplizumab, targeting against CD3, useful for type 1 diabetes in children. For migraine, we have some antibody. For example, erinumab, fremanezumab, galcanezumab. These are monoclonal antibody targeting against CGRP. CGRP means calcitonin gene-related peptide. Calcitonin gene-related peptide antagonist. So they are useful for migraine. And then some newer monoclonal antibody. Belimumab, targeting against B lymphocyte, approved for treatment of SLE, systemic lupus erythematosus, very important. Antibody useful for SLE mean Belimumab. Then teprotumumab, targeting against IGFR1 receptor, useful for thyroid eye disease. Then denituzumab, targeting against glycolipid GD2, useful for neuroblastoma. Then one more newer drug, elotuzumab, targeting against SLIM F7, useful for multiple myeloma. So far what we discussed is there are some monoclonal antibody useful for some specific disease we discussed. Here we are going to discuss monoclonal antibody targeting against programmed death receptor called PD1 and programmed death ligand PDL1. This is a very important topic. Listen carefully. We have some drug called ipilimumab. It's a monoclonal antibody targeting against CTLA4. CTLA means cytotoxic T lymphocyte associated protein or associated antigen for CTLA4, and then nivolumab and pembrolizumab. These two drugs are targeting against PD1, programmed death 1 receptor. These three drugs, ipilimumab, nivolumab, pembrolizumab, useful for treatment of malignant melanoma. Okay, very important. Ipilimumab targeting against CTLA4, cytotoxic T lymphocyte associated protein 4, useful for malignant melanoma. Then we have one more important drug comes under CTLA4 blocker called tremelimumab. It is also CTLA4 inhibitor. Now, nivolumab, in addition to melanoma, useful for Hodgkin's lymphoma as well as non-small cell lung cancer. Pembrolizumab, in addition to melanoma, useful for non-small cell lung cancer as well as head and neck cancer. Anyway, in general, you should know ipilimumab, nivolumab, and pembrolizumab are important monoclonal antibody useful for malignant melanoma. Next, we have one drug called CEMI, semiplimab. There is a drug targeting against programmed death 1, PD1. It's an immune checkpoint inhibitor useful for treatment of squamous cell carcinoma of the skin. And then very important drugs called ATE, atezolizumab. One more drug, DUR, durvalumab. Both are targeting against programmed death ligand 1, PDL1, PDL1, atezolizumab, durvalumab, and both are approved for treatment of urothelial carcinoma. Urothelial carcinoma. And atezolizumab, in addition to urothelial cancer, useful for non-small cell lung cancer. Next, AVEL, avelumab, a drug targeting against programmed death ligand PDL1. So it's called immune checkpoint inhibitor, useful for treatment of Merkel cell lymphoma. So what we done so far is there are some monoclonal antibody useful for some specific condition we discussed. Now we are going to discuss the most important group of monoclonal antibody called biphasic monoclonal antibodies. What are they? Catumoxomab. It's a monoclonal antibody targeting against epithelial cell adhesion molecule, the so-called EPCAM, epithelial cell adhesion molecule, as well as targeting against CD3 on T cell, useful for treatment of malignant ascites. It's a very important MCQ. Recently asked JIPMER question. Find out the monoclonal antibody useful for managing malignant ascites, catumoxomab. Then Ertumoxomab, targeting against HER2 as well as CD3 on T cell, useful for breast cancer. Then blinatumomab, targeting against CD19 on B cell, as well as targeting against CD3 on T cell, useful for Philadelphia chromosome negative refractory ALL. Very important. Blinatumomab, useful for treatment of Philadelphia chromosome negative refractory ALL. And then we have solitomab, targeting against epithelial cell adhesion molecule, as well as targeting against CD3 on T cell, useful for solid tumor. And some more neighbor biphasic monoclonal antibodies are durvalumab,
targeting against HER1 and also targeting against HER3 useful for head and neck cancer, and then osoralizumab targeting against TNF alpha as well as human serum albumin useful for rheumatoid arthritis. These two are never biphasic monoclonal antibody. So biphasic monoclonal antibody is a very important topic. Please go through, revise it. Monoclonal antibody as such tough topic, but definitely one or two questions going to come in this chapter. So read well. Thank you.